Guys, welcome back to a building process. In today's episode, we're working on the truck again. Stay tuned.
Alright guys, so this is basically the parts that we're going to be installing on the truck. Just a quick little tune-up on it, nothing too crazy. You guys have seen me do spark plugs and spark plug wires before. On all LS, this is basically the same. I'll show you guys here in a bit. But yeah, we're going to be putting some MSD spark plug wires. Love these wires. Highly recommend them. I have them with basically all my vehicles. They last forever. And yeah, man, I just really like MSD wires. I'm also gonna do NGK spark plugs. I basically run NGK spark plugs on all my vehicles. They're great. They never give me any problems. Run the TR55s on the truck and the Camaro, the SS, and on the C28 I run the TR6 spark plugs. So highly recommend these spark plugs if you're in the car game and basically you're running boost or anything like that. Everybody knows NGK spark plugs. And I'm also gonna be doing a fuel filter because I think I've owned this truck maybe for like 5 years, 6 years, and I've never done a fuel filter on it. So we're gonna be replacing the fuel filter. After that, the truck is gonna have a complete tune-up. Camaro's chilling in the garage. They're all dirty right now. It's been raining non-stop here in Texas, like every single day. Look at my car cover. It's all nasty. Gotta clean it. But yep, I already went ahead and got started. Took this wire out. This is just I don't even know what brand wire this is. I think it's NGK, honestly. Does it stay on here? No. I think it's NGK. They did okay. They've been on the truck basically since I had it. That was like the first tune-up I ever did on the truck. Put them wires on. But what I'm gonna be replacing them with is this one. Let me get it out here for you guys. I only put one on there to test fit to make sure it fit. Thing you want to make sure when you get these wires for your trucks, the 99 through 06, I believe, the coils, I think it's the coils, they sit higher on your valve cover. So obviously you're gonna need a longer wire. So like the wires on the F bodies are shorter than the wires on the trucks. You just gotta make sure whenever you get them that they're the correct length. So that's what I was doing. That's why there's one on here. But yep. That's what I'm going to be replacing these for, and they're way thicker. You can see. Hopefully, you can make it out on the camera. These are just way thicker. They're some thick boys. So I shouldn't have any problem with these wires. The truck actually started acting kind of funny, like it was missing, and it's done this before in the past. What happens is the way they design these headers. This what is it? I guess a collector runs up like that, and it basically rubs my wires. There's like no way to get around it. So I got these like heat boots on them, but after a while it just starts rubbing through and starts burning the wire, and then it creates like this mist. I want to say this one is a different one. Yeah, this one is black. It's a black wire, if you can see. I actually already replaced this one a while back. Got burnt. So I'm hoping, since the MSD wires are a little thicker, I'm hoping that I don't have that problem, that they don't burn through. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, you guys have seen me do spark plugs before. It's nothing too serious. You basically unplug your spark plug wire, and then your spark plug is down here. You get to it with the socket, spark plug socket, and that's it. You know, same thing on this side. Nothing too crazy. 8 on this side, 8 on that side. So let me go ahead and get started, man. Let me set y'all up, and I'll check back once I get an update, or once I have an update for you guys. Alright guys, quick little update. I got this side all done. As you guys can see, this side was a big pain in the butt because of this style header.
The collector, this right here, kind of goes up like that. So getting to this one and the last one was kind of a pain in the butt. I also put some heat proof boots or whatever, because they're actually touching the header. There's like no way around it. Whoever designed these headers, I think the company was OBX, if I'm not mistaken. They didn't do a good job. I think the reason why they did this swoop to go up like that was because of the steering rack or whatever. But I mean, they could have put this pipe to go down and go flush like that, like a normal style header. I don't really know why they did that, but not a good design. Anyways, went ahead and got this side all taken apart, and let me show you guys what they're looking like. Spark plugs don't look too bad. This is the old setup, and I was right, there were NGK wires. These wires actually didn't do too bad. They've probably been on the truck for, like I said, 5-6 years, maybe even longer. But the reason why I'm swapping them, because 2 of my wires actually ended up burning through, since they're so thin. And when I first installed them, I didn't have any heat protectant on them, so they ended up burning through. I ended up going to the auto parts store and just buying some stock ones, but these stock ones don't hold up at all, honestly, the little cheap ones. And I think I found my miss. Pretty sure this is why it was missing. As soon as I went to remove this wire, it literally just came apart. Like, I didn't even pull this or anything, it just kind of came apart. So you can see the burn marks, it's all charred. So safe to say this is definitely the source of my miss. Like I said, the truck was starting to run a little rough. And these are my spark plugs. They don't look horrible for being on the car for 5, 6, 7 years. You can tell they're a little lean though. Truck's running lean, they all look like that. From my understanding, if you're running lean, this electrode is gonna be all like discolored, and it looks like it's getting too hot, so truck's not getting enough fuel. And that has to do with the tune. Like I said, originally this truck was a V6. It's a V8 now, and I don't think it's ever been tuned, so that's gonna be the next thing to do on this truck, get a tune for it. And another thing that I forgot to tell you guys is make sure you gap your spark plugs. You can buy one of these spark plug gappers at an auto parts store. They're super cheap, and you can see the little numbers on there. Now, from my understanding and from my experience, every time I get NGK TR55 spark plugs, they're always gapped at 0.55. I just went ahead and checked all these 4, and they were all gapped at 0.55. So that's gonna be, let me see if I can zoom in. That's gonna be, you see that 0.50 right at the half mark. So my spark plugs always come pre-gap, but it doesn't hurt to check them. You never know. You want to make sure you got the same gap on all cylinders, and you want to make sure you have the correct gap for your vehicle. Now, from my understanding, on these trucks, they come pre-gapped, or not pre-gapped, they come with a gap of 0.60, but you can run anywhere between a 0.40 and between a 0.40 to a 0.60, anywhere in between, as long as you don't have that many, crazy mods. Now, if you're getting into like boost applications and stuff like that, you're definitely gonna want to run a lower gap, like maybe 0.35, 0.36. I want to say in the Camaro, since it's high compression, I think I have them at 0.38, 0.37, somewhere around there. I don't really remember. And they're TR6, like I was mentioning. So basically they already come gap to a smaller gap, I think, and they run cooler. So the more heat your engine produces, the more of a cooler gap you want. Basically, that's the theory behind that. But yeah, don't forget to check your guys' spark plug gap, and let's go ahead and finish up this side. Alright guys, so I went ahead and got the truck up on the ramps. We're gonna get ready to, well, we actually already changed out the fuel filter, but let me just show you guys how easy it is to swap it out.
Always make sure whenever you ramp your vehicle or you jack it up or however you're going to lift it, if you're working on the ground, make sure that you chalk the rear wheels. You don't want the vehicle to accidentally roll down, and that won't be a good time. So yeah, make sure safety, guys. Safety. Check out my new ramps. Just got these Rhino ramps, I think they're called. They're rated for up to 12,000 pounds. Really like these ramps. One of my friends actually used to have them back in the day, and I finally got me my own pair. But yep, this is the old filter. Saw cruddy, as you can see. I've never actually swapped this filter out. Have no idea how long it's been out or how long it's been on the truck. Maybe since new. But yep, this is what it looks like. It's a little fuel filter. And you gotta be careful because they are like one-way orientated, or they go a specific way. The filter actually goes like this. So where the fuel from your fuel tank comes in here, it gets cleaned, filtered, and then it goes to your engine, to your fuel rails. You can see the little out right there. See that? Make sure to be on the lookout. Basically on these trucks, I was able to get this out with a 17 millimeter wrench and one of those open-ended wrenches on the other end to hold it in place. Super easy. Once you break the nuts loose, the filter is just gonna slide out of his housing, and then you just slide the new one in. Let me show you guys how I did it. Bear with me here. Yeah, the filter. Oh, that's a nice little shot of my hand. Sorry about that, guys. But the filter is gonna be located right there. It's like right on your trans cross member, basically. This is the trans cross member for orientation. You just follow it, and it's gonna be right there, guys. Right there. Sorry for the close-up, like right underneath it. But yep, that's the nut that you need to break loose. So 17 on one end and an open box end wrench on the other end. Same thing on this side. Break them loose. The filter is gonna slide right out of its housing, and you just put the new one in place. Super easy job. It's gonna take you like 5 minutes. So yep, that's gonna do it for the tune-up. Alright, guys, we're here driving the truck. Seems like the mist is gone. She's driving pretty good, so I think that's a success. Heck yeah. At first it started kind of rough, so I was like, dang man, maybe I didn't figure it out, you know? But no, she's driving good now. She geared up, not missing. Before it would like kind of like hesitate. Now it's running way better. So we're just gonna keep cruising along. We're gonna keep monitoring it, however you say it, and I'll check back with you guys once I get back to the house. Alright guys, quick little update. Took the truck to get a wash, and upon driving it further, the truck's still kind of missing. It's kind of weird. It'll like hesitate for like the first couple RPMs, and then it clears out. And it's basically only when you first start it. After you get going, like after you drive it for a while, it basically goes away. So it's kind of weird. But I went ahead and scanned my truck, my codes. Let me show you guys with what tool. All right, let's see here. Okay, so this is basically OBD2 scanner. Super old scanner, and basically what this does is scan your codes. So went ahead and plugged this up, and I got an oxygen sensor code. So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna replace my oxygen sensors. They're actually part of tune-up as well. I got them right here. See, Denso oxygen sensor. So the code that I was getting was the upstream bank 2 sensor 1, no activity. So I'm hoping it's the sensor and not like a wiring issue. I traced back the wires. They don't seem to be like cut or anything like that. There's the wires down there. So I'm gonna say that the sensor is bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap it out. You actually need to swap out your sensors as part of maintenance. I did the sensors on this truck when I first got it back like 6-7 years, basically the same time at the spark plugs. So it's a good time to change them. I'm gonna swap both of them out, and I'll let you guys know how it runs. Super easy to swap out. I guess before I cut the clip, I'll show you guys how to do it. Let me get underneath here. All you need is either a oxygen sensor socket. So that basically is like a special socket that you have to remove your oxygen sensors. Your upstream oxygen sensors, obviously I got long tubes, so my upstream are right there. You can see that hole, and then the downstream are gonna be further down. But I'm just worrying about the upstream. The downstream, I don't really worry about it actually, because they're gonna get tuned out. I think you can see it up there. I actually don't even, I think I have it connected, but it's just for like, so I don't have an oxygen sensor. I mean an exhaust leak. That's why I have them connected. But you don't really need your downstream, especially if you have long tube headers and you don't have catalytic converters. You don't need your downstream. So I'm just worried about the upstream. Upstream, they get removed, swapped out, and basically all I did was use one of these 7/8 wrenches. Just slide it on in, break it loose. Maybe you'll need a hammer to hit it to break it loose. Take the old one out and then put your new one in. That simple, guys. So I'll check back with you guys once I have it installed. Boom! Just like that, guys, she is fixed. Yes, sir. So the mist turned out to be a bad O2 sensor. Now she's riding way smoother. Yeah, man. The spark plugs and wires, I needed to do them because it had been forever. And like I said, once I removed that other spark plug, it basically just fell apart in my hand. So that needed to be done as well. The fuel filter, I had never done it on this vehicle, so needed to be done. All these parts are maintenance parts that you need to keep up with your vehicles. I like to swap them out every 5 years. Sometimes I'm slacking and I don't swap them out for a while, but really in general you're supposed to swap them out like every 5 years or like 10,000 miles, 5,000 miles. I would do it every 10,000 miles, honestly. Like O2 sensors, fuel filter, spark plugs, spark plug wires. Like your oil, I would do it every 3,000 miles, but everything else every 10,000 miles or every 5 years, whatever comes first. I don't really drive these vehicles that much, so for me the years go by faster than the mileage. So it was definitely time to do this tune-up. But I mean, she is riding good, guys. I'm gonna drop it in a second, do a little poop for you guys. Oh yeah, oh yeah, she's driving good, guys. She is not missing at all. Oh man, I'm so happy I got this fixed. It was such an annoying problem. But yes sir, let me get back to the house and I'll check back with you guys once I'm there. That's gonna do it for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment if you guys have any questions, and stay tuned for the next episode. Peace.